The search for Michael Vaughan continues. Michael went missing from his neighborhood in Fruitland in July of 2021. He was just 5 years old at the time. Law enforcement has spent the last year and a half investigating. But the Fruitland police chief says a credible tip led investigators to a home near Michael's neighborhood this weekend.
Crews are back out in Fruitland today searching for Michael Vaughan. Police believe his remains are in the backyard of a Fruitland home, and today is the 6th day crews are excavating the yard. Crews could be at the house on Red Wing Street for another week. This house is just 4 minutes from the Vaughn's home.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughan could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Stacey Wondra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wondra's home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughan were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wondra's residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
Evidence suggests that the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Stacey Wondra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Stacey Wondra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. And Stacey Wondra, 30 years old, a male. Stacey was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacey has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughan. Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrian Lucien, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrian was staying with Sarah and Stacey Wondra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrian has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction.
Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. It is so good to have you here. It is October 31st, 2025. It's Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. Welcome to Missing PNW Crimes Revisited. My name is Samantha. Thank you guys all for coming and supporting Michael Joseph Vaughan and his family today. I have some updates because news has spread all over the internet about Stacey Wondra's arrest in Phoenix, Arizona, after being released from federal prison. I couldn't be happier. Let's see who's in chat today. I hope everybody is having an amazing day. I sure am. Hot Mess is in the house. Good to see you, hun. I am so happy. What a beautiful thing to wake up to. I know Hot Mess, I don't know if you guys know it, had Stacey Wondra living with her at one point. She didn't know he was a suspect in Michael Vaughan's case at the time she had him there. And she's helped me do some videos and some other stuff. So thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for being here. Sarah's in the house. Good to see you. Thank you, moderators, for coming on kind of short notice and at an odd time for me. I normally do not go live at noon. It's usually later in the afternoon, but it's Halloween. I got plans with my grandbabies. I've got some work I need to do today. So thank you all so much for coming in. Pretty Assessor, I knew you'd be here. Hello, hello, hello. Scotty Too Hottie, good to see you. How have you been? Rizzo in the house. Good to see you, love. Pam Fogel, thank you so much for joining. It's been a very exciting and a very emotional couple of days to go live, to just update everybody on Brandy's health, to then find out that Stacey had been arrested. In his own words, saying he has been arrested. And now it's everywhere, all over the internet. I mean, I could barely even sleep. And when I did have a chance to finally calm down last night, I was in tears, just happy tears, emotional tears, just wondering what is next for the Vaughan family. You know, are these suspects going to be charged at the same time? Or in court, I say, together, at the same time? Will it be one at a time? You know, I really just want the peace and justice to come as fast as possible for the Vaughan family. They've already suffered for over 4 years now. And let's face it, if they do each suspect one by one individually, this could be years and years and years for the Vaughan family. So continue to pray for them. D Lucky is in the house. Who has anxiety waiting on other arrest? Me. My hand is up. We have waited so long. Monkey's family has waited so long. Justice for Michael and his family. Thank you so much, D Lucky, for coming in. I appreciate you being here. True Crime Junkie. Love that name. I am so happy to see justice finally coming for Brandy and her family, for Michael. She is the strongest, most beautiful human I have seen. Praise the Lord. 1 down, 3 to go. Right? 3 to go. Brandon, if you're listening, I have some news for you, so stay tuned. Let's go. Thank you, Voices Against the Wall, for showing up and being here, for the Vaughan family. Thank you for all of the support. Charisma is in the house. Thank you guys so much for the support here for the Vaughan family. I know that Brandy and the family love seeing people here. AV in the house. Thank you, my beautiful moderator, for coming. She's in the process of moving right now, so thank you so much for being here. I know you're busy. Today I have posted up and pinned up at the top the Vaughan family meal train. As you guys have heard, or if you're new to the case, maybe you haven't heard that Brandy Vaughan just went through a major liver transplant. Her body did reject that liver at first. Was very, very, very sick and pretty much on her deathbed before she got that liver. But she is here with us now and she is recovering. And during that time, her husband Tyler had to take off of work. They have 3 other kids that they have to take care of, and Papa's in the house. So any little thing that you can possibly do to help the family is much appreciated. I don't know if any of my moderators have Brandy's Cash App and PayPal account, but if you could post that, I would really, really appreciate it. Anything will definitely help the family, especially with the holidays here, Thanksgiving and Christmas just right around the corner. I don't know how the hell we got to Thanksgiving and Christmas already, but it feels like just yesterday I had Brandon Shirtliff up here on a live, and that was 8 months ago. And it's been over 10 months since Brandy was told by the DA that charges were coming against suspects, and we've all been waiting for this moment, right? Michael Vaughan was abducted July 27th of 2021 in his neighborhood, and his family, was told that Michael was deceased. He was buried in Stacey and Sarah Wandra's backyard, and then his body was then moved to an unknown location. There are 4 suspects in Michael Vaughan's abduction. One of the suspects has been arrested, Stacey Wondra, when he was released from federal prison yesterday, and we'll talk more about his charges in a moment. Sarah Wondra is incarcerated now on unrelated charges and set to be free in 2026, but I don't think that that's going to happen either, because I do believe that she will also be charged along with Stacey Wondra. Adrian Lucian and Brandon Shirtliff are out on the streets, but not for very long. I suggest that they come forward with any information about Michael's abduction and just any information that you know. Brandon, we know you know where Monkey is, and it's just a matter of time before the cuffs are put on you and you're brought in for justice. Justice will be served and you will get arrested. Right along with Adrian, right along with Sarah, there will be charges. Excuse my coughs. I just got over the flu. I'm still recovering, so excuse me if you hear me coughing. I'm going to try not to do it, but it's difficult to say the least. Michael Vaughan did not come missing at his house. It was in his neighborhood. People like to spread some very crazy misinformation in Michael's case, and we're tired of it. We're tired of hearing of it. And these 4 suspects were updated in January of 2025. I am so happy for the family that charges are here and that Michael's going to get justice. Justice for Michael. Absolute Power Corrupts is in the house. Thank you so much for coming. We've got Stacey. Justice is coming, Brandy. Tina in the house. Is there court documentation of his being held upon release? I have lots of information today, Tina. I will be sharing it with you. Tooth Fairy in the house. It's good to see you. I've missed you. I've missed everybody. Thank you for coming in. Beverly Lawyer in the house. Thank you so much for being here, for always being here and being so supportive, as many of you have. My goodness, so many people here. Thank you guys all so much for coming. Direct Current put up Brandy Vaughn's, I don't know if this is the Cash App or the PayPal account, but this is one of them. Yes, thank you, Fruitland, Idaho Police, and the District Attorney, for Michael Duke, for doing such a damn good job, for having to constantly pull that case file off that judge's desk to add more information. Yes, hallelujah, the day has come, and there are going to be more charges. You can just feel it, can't you? We all know it, right? Butterfly kisses in the house. Ruby Slippers is here too. Thank you for coming. So glad to have everybody. Another Tina is in the house, and Pebbles is here. Zombie Game is here. Miss Harmony is here. Thank you guys for being here. We are Glamadies in the house. We are Monkey's Army. My beautiful admin found some information for me today from our Facebook group page. If you guys don't know it, I have two different Facebook groups. One is for Kyron Horman. It's Kyron Horman Case Revisited, and the other one is Michael Vaughan Case Revisited. I would love to have you guys over there. Our Kyron Horman Case Revisited is actually really, really active right now, and I know that Michael's will be very active now. Carrie Bishop, prayers for Brandy Tyler and the family. Thank you so much. I have the best chat on the YouTube streets, even though I'm a small channel. Relena, thank you for coming in. Justice for Michael Vaughan, prayers for Brandy and the family. Are you guys ready to see some information? Because I am ready to share it. Are you guys ready for this? First of all, let me share what the Payette County prosecutor shared today on Facebook. I will read it here. I suggest if Brandon and Adrian are listening, you might want to listen up closely. Sarah, I believe, is inevitable, but for some reason, Adrian Lucian and Brandon Shirtliff seem to think that they're untouchable and they're just going to keep roaming the streets. And I'm here to tell you that's probably not going to be that way for long. Michael Vaughan case update, says Michael Duke. My office is moving forward with charges against the individuals, plural, individuals involved in the disappearance and murder of 5-year-old Michael Vaughan, which occurred in the summer of 2021. After a robust investigation by the Fruitland Police Department and countless missing agencies, we have unfortunately been unable to locate Michael to recover his remains. Our foremost hope has always been to recover Michael, but delays now risk further harm to his loved ones. We believe we know the individuals involved and are committed to pursuing justice with or without Michael's recovery. The charges are only possible as a result of Fruitland's unyielding and perseverance. They have not ceased to work the case since the crime occurred, and they are continuing to search and investigate so they can bring Michael's body home. As Chief Huff has previously stated, it would be foolish to believe Fruitland PD will ever stop in their pursuit of recovering one of the most cherished members of our community, a child. I would remind the public that anyone accused of a crime by my office is entitled to the presumption of innocence, and it is the office's duty to prove that they are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in the court of law. I would also ask the public and the media to be sensitive to how difficult a case like this is to the surviving family members and neighbors, and ask that any efforts to speak with those individuals be tempered be tempered appropriately. Cases such as these tend to thrust family members into the public eye against their will, and it is my hope that the public will respect their privacy as they weather this difficult process. Signed, Michael Duke. And I don't know about you guys, but I was damn happy to see this out this morning. I mean, just been waiting to hear something publicly made by either law enforcement or the district attorney. And again, my office is moving forward with charges against the individuals involved in the disappearance and murder of 5-year-old Michael Vaughan. Individuals. And we have 4 individuals, 4 suspects in Michael's case. One of them has been incarcerated for Michael's murder and abduction. Now, I found this. Hold on one second. Did I see a super chat in the house? Let me see here. Earth Dog, sorry. Please tell us how to donate to Brandy. Thank you for all of your hard work. Thank you so much. We have a super chat in the house, and it is time to party. Thank you so much. And I believe that link was added here. Hey, Justin, how are you? I went up on Justin's channel and spoke with him and Josh last night, and kind of just reminiscing about the entire case and things that we have done, suspects we have talked to, how difficult it's been for us being friends with the family and talking with Brandy. And yeah, it was a great live last night. Clutch Them Pearls last night, and Josh also did a live. Purple, please help Brandy and Tyler by supporting Monkey Foundation. She put up another link here. And she's also been adding the Cash App and the PayPal in chat. Thank you so much, Purple, for doing that. Thank you for being here. Bo is in the house. Kim G is here. Thank you, love, for being here. So many people are here. Thank you guys for coming. So what you're looking at right now, excuse me, this is what I was able to find online. Hold on one second. I'm trying to pull it up on my phone because that is too small to read. This is from Arizona. It's record details. Stacey Wondra, custody record, age 33, gender male. Date of birth is here. ID number. Custody status October 30th, 2025 at 12:09 p.m. Custody status is he's in custody. Custody detail, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Booking date October 30th, 2025, 12:02 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Location, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office at 2600 or 2670 South 28th Drive, and that is in Arizona. And the charge details of this arrest. There is a picture of Stacey Wondra. Stacey James Wondra was booked in Maricopa County, Arizona for fugitive of justice. Now, I have looked up fugitive of justice, and it keeps wanting to talk about fugitives running away from, running from the law, because that's usually what a fugitive is. I honestly believe that when this is talking about fugitive of justice, is just meaning there's an arrest on a man who either needs to be extradited or picked up from Arizona. It has its booking number, the booking date, which was 10/30/2025. This one says at 7:10 p.m. and arresting agency was Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Now, those charges, I'd have to say, Stacey Wondra's lost some weight. I mean, he's still a monster, but it looks like he's lost some weight since he's been in there this past year. Again, the charges don't really talk about anything but fugitive of justice. So I myself, Carrie is correct. Let me see what Carrie has to say here. Thank you guys for coming in. He's a fugitive because he has a warrant out of Idaho now. Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I just kept looking up, figure it out. And yes, we're going to talk about the warrant also, because it has been put on the news this morning about the warrant that was brought up by the detectives. So let me share my screen real quick, and we're just going to keep going after some information here. First of all, let me share this with you guys. Do you guys remember this?
The investigation continues in the disappearance for Michael Vaughan, the boy who went missing in 2021. In body camera footage uploaded on YouTube, one of the suspects in the disappearance claimed he knew where Michael's body was buried. Let's bring in Abby Wilt now. Abby, that footage contradicts what was told to KTVB nearly a year ago.
Hunter, that's right. Stacey Wondra interviewed with KTVB and said he had no connection to the case and no clue who Michael even was. That contradicts what he told detectives in newly released footage, where he says he watched Michael's body be buried in his backyard. For the first time, we're seeing Stacey Wondra give.
I just want to give out a little bit of a trigger warning here. There will be some information shared by Stacey Wondra during this footage on this news broadcast that has to do with Michael Vaughan. The way that Stacey Wondra says that Michael passed away, and the burial of Michael Vaughan in his backyard. If you need to protect your mental health, if this is something that's too difficult to listen to, please come back in a few short minutes, but it is very disturbing to listen to. So just a trigger warning, everybody.
Conflicting information about his possible connection to 5-year-old Michael Vaughan's disappearance. In 2022, Stacey told detectives via FaceTime where to find Michael's body in his backyard after claiming he watched his wife, Sarah, bury Michael there.
Give me an approximate time frame it took her to dig and bury him.
I don't know, I'd say probably between a half hour to an hour-ish.
Over a year later, in January of 2024, he told KTVB he knew nothing about Michael's disappearance and wasn't even home when Michael went missing.
I just know that I wasn't around for any of it.
In the body camera footage recorded by police, he says he saw Michael's body.
It should be a garbage bag.
Okay, what color is the garbage bag?
It would either be white or black. We only had two colors.
Is the duct tape still going to be over his mouth?
They should be.
Okay.
I didn't watch take them off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
Another glaring contradiction between the two interviews. Stacey claimed he didn't even know who Michael was at the time of his disappearance.
Like I said, I've never even heard of this kid. I've never seen this kid. Never knew anything about him.
Now the police footage shows him guiding them to where he says Michael's body was buried.
It was. I think it was a little bit closer in than the sprinkler. Where was it at? Right there.
Yeah, you can see it out there. It's going on.
Yeah. No, so it would have been a little closer in, not like right on the edge of the fence.
Like I said, that's the place that I know that he was being buried, was at the first place I directed to.
In the KTVB interview last year, Stacey had no recollection of Michael's body anywhere near his yard.
Can you think of any time that his body would have been buried there and then moved? Does anything stand out to you?
I just want to pause it right there. Like, look at the Wondra's backyard. The trees that were in that backyard were dug up and moved. This dirt, they dug 3 to 4 feet down, and the dirt was loaded up into dump trucks, sifted through and looked through to find Michael buried in that backyard, because Stacey Wondra gave law enforcement a tip that he was there. And then to come to find out, Michael's body had been moved to an unknown location. Stacey Wondra does not get the deal that he thought he was going to get by giving up all of that information. And there are suspects that know exactly where Michael is. And if they don't think that Stacey Wondra isn't singing like a canary about anything and everything that he hasn't already told law enforcement, you better think again. And when the charges come on Sarah, because I already know she's terrified of the death penalty, I have seen text messages by her sent to someone that I know, and she's terrified of the death penalty. If you think she ain't gonna start singing like a canary, think again. This is the reality in this case. The Vaughan family is going to have to go to court and listen to the facts that law enforcement and the district attorney have in Michael's case. And it's going to be a difficult, long road and even more suffering for them. And all I ask of Monkey's Army is to continue to support them. Brandy and the Vaughan family had to listen to the trucks that came in and out of the neighborhood because there was only one way in and one way out when they had to go dig up this backyard. They have already been through so much. And there are already people out there wanting to talk and support suspects in Michael Vaughan's case. Ignore it all. I'm begging you. Don't talk about it. Don't help spread the rumors and the misinformation. Stick to the facts. Listen to the Roundtable Monkey Mondays. Come here for the facts. Go over to Justin's. Go over to Josh's, the lab. Clutch them pearls. Please listen to the facts, not the misinformation.
Not at all. They were saying that he was buried by the shed. Makes absolutely no sense. There's been no dig marks. There's no trench marks. There's nothing. The ground was a complete grassed area.
To police, he had all the details.
If that's all the crap she's giving you, it's just that he's the one that dug the hole. But she's not giving you any specifics. I can give you the specifics.
However, he told us he had no idea.
He just said, I can give you the specifics. Sarah can't give you the specifics. I can give you the specifics. Stacey Wondra wanted a deal. He's already talked, and he will keep talking.
Idea why police would even think he knew details.
Were you involved in the disappearance of Michael Vaughan?
No,
Why do police think you were?
I have no idea.
And there's still a lot of questions about this case, and ultimately where Michael is. His body still has not been found. Police say they're still working tirelessly to bring justice to little Michael. Stacey is currently in federal custody after violating conditions of his supervised release. He's one of the 4 suspects in the case, and we do know one of those suspects made contact with the Fruitland Police Department yesterday when this body camera footage was released.
Yeah, Abby, thank you. And in response to the body camera footage,
When that body camera footage was released, one of the suspects talked to Fruitland Police. Lots of tips, lots of leads started coming in after Brandy was told that charges were coming in the suspects, onto the suspects in this case. And that's one of the reasons why it has taken so long for any of them to get arrested. Okay. Got more information to share with you. Scotty Too Hottie sounds like Sebastian's case. Paid actors spreading misinformation and distractions. Yeah, these are just some creators that want to spread the misinformation. All right, let's just keep going with the information that has been found and shared all over the internet. This is breaking news here. Let's give a listen.
We have a major breaking news update on a case that we've been following for years, the case of missing boy Michael Vaughan out of Fruitland. We are now learning police are prepared to make an arrest with a warrant issued for Stacey Wondra. That is a name that you may have heard in this case before. We were there when police dug up the backyard of Stacey and Sarah Wondra's home just a few blocks away from where Michael Vaughan went missing. Now, prosecutors tell us they are prepared to charge Stacey Wondra with first-degree murder and second-degree kidnapping. We've heard from the Vaughan family who tell us they have mixed emotions about all of this.
So first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping charges.
They want to find out where Michael is. They said after that, they will let the justice system take its course and take it from there. They just want answers as to where Michael Monkey Vaughan was placed. This is a continuing story that we will be following for you with team coverage. Stick with Idaho News 6. We have a
Brandy, Michael Vaughan's mother, has even told the suspects, told Brandon specifically, tell me where Monkey is and I will make sure that the judge or they are lenient on you, that they, won't charge you to the fullest, that I will find you some kind of deal, because she just wants her son home. And Brandon and Adrian, you guys listen to everything we put out. So do yourself a favor and contact Fruitland before they come after you. Talk to them. Tell them everything you know. Tell them everything you saw, everything you did, and most importantly, like, tell law enforcement, Brandon, where Monkey is. Because if you don't, Sarah might. Come on, it is time. You would be doing yourself a favor. I personally don't even want you to do yourself any favors. I would love to see you spend the rest of your life in prison or get the death penalty, but because I love the Vaughan family so much, I'm asking this of you, because we know you know where Monkey is, Brandon, and it is time to talk. Give this family some peace. Why are you holding on to this? Because if you don't say anything now, once the cuffs are on, and once you've been arrested, once those charges come, there's no looking back. You're going down, and there's not going to be a damn deal that they're going to want to offer you unless Brandy is begging them to offer you something. And you better thank God that that's how much she loves her son, but that's how much she wants her son home. And the whole world watching, that's Brandy's heart. That's how good of a person she is, that she is willing to give deals. She's willing for someone not even to spend a day in damn prison or jail if they would just tell her where her son is. Where is Monkey? Tell Brandy, tell the Vaughan family where Monkey is. I'm begging you for the family, please. She is the best. She is the best. Yeah, Hot Mess even says you can write a note that tells the location of Michael and just give it to a stranger. You can email it to findmichael@fruitland.org. Let me just share another.
We have breaking news right now.
A warrant has been issued for Stacey Wondra, connected to the death and disappearance of little Michael Vaughan. He was 5 years old when he went missing in July of 2021 from outside of his Fruitland home. And now a Payette County lieutenant confirms Wondra has been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence.
Destruction of evidence. I have a question, and I would love for any of you to answer. I would love to just know what you think. Destruction of evidence having to do with Stacey Wondra. Because I don't believe that Stacey Wondra knows where Michael Vaughan was moved to, or does he? What other destruction of evidence is there that they could have added a charge for there? I'm just asking for a friend. Hell, it could be anything. We're not privy to like any information, right? First degree murder, second degree kidnapping, and destruction of evidence.
Back in 2022, police announced that Wondra, his ex-wife Sarah, and 2 other individuals were suspects or persons of interest in Michael's disappearance. Authorities searched the Wondra's home and their yard in Fruitland at that time. Sarah was charged with failure to report a death. That charge was later dropped, though. Stacey Wondra, who you just saw, is serving time out of state right now for a different crime. And the lieutenant we've talked to tells us he has not been extradited back to Idaho yet. Sarah currently serving time in an Idaho prison on unrelated charges.
Now, we did talk to Michael's mom, Brandy Neal. She sent us a statement this morning saying their family is filled with mixed emotions. She said, quote, "All we have wanted is for Michael to come home, knowing that charges are coming forth to these monsters. We pray that they will finally tell us where Michael is. Michael deserves to be home with his family. There's one thing that just keeps ringing in my head right now," she says, and it's something that J.D. Huff said. He said that you cannot take one of our most precious citizens and ever expect us to stop. Now, Fruitland Police Department continues to live up to that statement. This is just the beginning to a very hard road for this family, they say. They say, we are here, we want justice. Michael will get his justice. We want Michael home, and we're never going to stop until we have Michael home.
We want justice. We are here. Michael will get his justice. We want Michael home, and we're never going to stop until we have Michael home. We're Monkey's Army. We're never going to stop. This is just the beginning of an even bigger fight. We have been fighting and fighting and fighting for justice. Now we want that justice served. This is going to be a long road for the family. They have a lot that they're going to have to deal with over the next few months, years. Who knows how long this could take? Who knows how many suspects they're going to charge? Who knows what the charges are going to be on each individual suspect? And if they will all be tried together or tried separately. And now that it's almost finalized, the divorce of Sarah and Stacey Wondra, I can only imagine how they're going to both be pointing fingers at each other's, like they always do. When the warrant came in 2022 to go to the Wondra's house, they immediately arrested Sarah because she had knowledge of Michael Vaughan's death, because she told police that Stacey Wondra buried Michael in the neighbor's yard. Then it was God told her that Stacey Wondra buried Michael Vaughan in their backyard. And then when you hear the cam footage from police officers and we listen to Stacey Wondra, he's talking about how Michael was buried in the backyard and he watched Sarah and Adrian bury him. They have already been pointing the finger at one another. Stacey Wondra just pissed off because Sarah went to jail, throws Stacey under the bus for unrelated firearm charges or firearm selling of a firearm at a pawn shop, which gets him in trouble, gets federal charges. He's back on parole. He's in and out of prison. And now I know that there has been court proceedings as recent as this month, October, having to do with their divorce, and a default is where it stands. Now, default in a divorce can mean that it's final and they're divorced in some states. And it can also mean that it's almost finalized and more paperwork needs to be filed to finalize it. But Stacey Wondra did pay the money and did everything he was supposed to do to get everything filed for this divorce this time. Now, he's filed for divorce before, never followed through, but he did this time. So their marriage won't stand in court, and they will be able to testify against one another in court. And I think that's huge, and I'm really glad that that has happened. And at least one good thing happened of Stacey Wondra being in prison this last year.
This is, of course, a huge breaking story. We'll continue to update you throughout the morning and throughout the day here on KTVB and KTVB.com.
14 years ago, Bernadine.
Doug Bishop there. I love him. But like the news just said, they're going to be updating throughout the day. I woke up this morning. I didn't know what I was going to see. Was I going to see that there was anything put out by the district attorney, by law enforcement? We're getting told by the news that a lieutenant from Fruitland Police talked to them and spoke to them about the warrant and the arrest and the charges. And we heard a comment by the district attorney, by the prosecutor, that will be prosecuting Stacey. And I think it's huge. And I really didn't know what to expect, but he's in Phoenix, Arizona, awaiting to either be picked up or extradited. That is his new picture. His new picture. What's everybody got to say over there? If I do see any misinformation in the comment section, you may or may not know. You think you might know, but if I see it, I will be deleting it because I don't want rumors spread. So I'm just letting everybody know that now. I'm not seeing anything right now. I just want to make that perfectly clear because I don't want rumors to start spreading. They spread way too fast. I'm waiting to hear more. I want to hear more. I want to know who else is getting charged, who else is going to be arrested. I just can't wait to see them all behind bars. Today is the day. Child predators, child deceasers. Prosecutors can present the destruction of evidence to the jury as proof that the defendant was trying to hide evidence and therefore had a consciousness of guilt. True that. It is. It is time to talk. Kim, thank you for being here. He looks scary. He looks like he's lost a lot of weight, that's for sure. A lot of weight. I mean, you guys just saw him sitting on a bench on the One News that, you know, and he's so heavy and so big, his stomach's like rolling. And I'm not trying to fat shame. I'm a big girl. I'm just trying to say he looks like he's lost a lot of weight. They are. They're all liars. Hair curlers and crime. Thank you so much. She was working. She's like, but as soon as I get home, I'm coming. Thank you for being here. No, there wasn't a statement by Brandon's friend stating how they ended up with Michael, but his friend Dan Guthrie did say what law enforcement had told him had happened to Michael Vaughan when they went to Livingston, Montana to arrest Brandon and try to get him to make a plea deal with them and get him to tell them where Michael was. He did not sign the plea deal, didn't take the plea deal, and had already fled Livingston, Montana before they got there, just days before they got there. Matter of fact, it was after the live that I did with him. But Brandon's girlfriend and his friend also said that Brandon had told both of them that he left the Wandra's house the night that Michael was abducted and went to his mom's house that night because they were all not getting along. Oh, yes, of course. They are all going to try to blame it on one another. That's what they've been doing this entire time. Two of the suspects won't even take any accountability for anything that they have done. Well, none of the suspects will take any accountability. Stacey's the only one that's even really talked. But what's the truth and what's not the truth? Stacey is a compulsive liar. Sarah has been in prison talking with people, and she's been lying up a storm. I have caught Brandon in so many contradictions from recorded phone calls that I have had with him until he was up on my live, and the contradictions from one day to the very next day were huge. And it was the same questions that he knew I was going to ask him because we had spoken about it the day before our live together. None of them keep a story straight. They all lie. You know, the only one that has ever said the same exact thing is Adrian Lucian, and he was saying and has always said that he was set up. And Adrian, if you're listening, now's the time. Talk to law enforcement. Tell them what you know. Tell them what you saw. Stop being afraid. Stop worrying about all of your friends, thinking you're a snitch. This is to keep you from facing some major charges, because law enforcement will come for you too. Individuals are going to be charged. You heard it from the district attorney. Destruction of evidence can be physical, shredding, burning, or digital, deleting files, erasing data. True that. True that. I just wanted to get you guys' opinion because I, like everybody in here and things you guys have already said, I thought the same thing. I have thought of 1,000 different things that it could be, but my mind kept wondering if it had anything to do with moving Michael Vaughan. Idaho has the death penalty, and in this case could be prosecuted with death penalty or life in prison. And the firing squad is the death penalty in Idaho. And that is very true. They do have it. Thank you so much for being here. Blueberry Hill. Love that name. We are all here to support the family in any way we can. Thank you. They do need all of the support that they can get. If you can donate to the Cash App, the PayPal account, or click the pin at the top. Here is a link to the Vaughn family meal train. I am going to keep looking for any new information. I have other people on it to find out any new information. And we have a super chat here. Let's read that. It may take weeks or years, but no, this evil now and forever, God always wins. Very true, Sharon Marlowe. Thank you so much for the super chat. It's time to dance. All right. I'm just joining. Was there a plea deal offered? A plea deal at one time, we believe, was being presented to Stacey Wondra, and that's why he gave the tip that he did, that Michael was buried in the Wondra's backyard. A plea deal. I know Sarah turned down a plea deal from prosecutors while she's been sitting in prison or in her women's facility. And I know for a fact that there was a plea deal offered to Brandon Shurtleff if he would give up where Michael Vaughan is. Because right now, no one knows, except for suspects, where Michael was moved when he was moved from the Wandra's backyard. So there have been plea deals offered, and there have been suspects that are quite ignorant, not wanting to take the plea deal because these suspects have really believed that they were going to get away with this. They have all actually really believed that they were going to get away with it. Stacey Wondra himself believed it so much even after he talked to police about what he said he saw, which was Michael being buried in the backyard by Sarah and Adrian. You give up all of this information, even the color of a garbage bag, where he was buried in the backyard. Poor Michael having duct tape on his mouth, and still think you're just going to be set free, that you're never going to get charged with anything. When law enforcement was able to prove that Michael's body was buried in that backyard and later moved. I'm seeing so many new faces. I really appreciate every single one of you that's came in. This is not an easy case to talk about. It is not an easy case to work on, especially when you're close with the family. But we're here. We're Monkey's Army. We're never going anywhere. Facts have to be talked about, no matter what the facts are. Thank you so much for putting up Michael Vaughan's playlist. That's of all of the shows that I have done. There is an interview with Brandy Vaughan and Stacey Wondra. There is an interview with Brandon's longtime friend and friend of the family's, Dan Guthrie, and Brandon's girlfriend from 8-9 months ago, Misty. And then there is an interview with Brandon, and there's also a phone call interview that I did with him that was also released in the Michael Vaughan case. There is so much court documents, news broadcasts that had gone over. We dug really super deep into Stacey Wondra's life, about him being in the mental facility or disability facility that he was in, charges that all of the suspects have had, because Stacey and Sarah are both very violent criminals. They have had GUNs. They have threatened people with the GUN. Sarah, pointed or was going. There was a pizza delivery man that pissed her off, and she threatened to use the GUN. She, in this case, one of the reasons why she's sitting where she's sitting now, took a GUN and pointed it at one of their roommates' heads. Very violent criminals. Stacey himself said that Sarah pointed a GUN to him, would beat him with pots and pans. Stacey Wondra was with another woman doing criminal activities, breaking and entering. There was a GUN used in a hotel in Montana. Lots to know about these suspects. These suspects aren't just suspects. in a missing child's case for no reason. These are criminals that have been out on the streets for years doing all kinds of things. And had they been incarcerated and not just gotten slaps on the wrists and actually kept locked up, maybe none of this would have even happened to Michael. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And that's why we're here today. Brandon's got court on November 4th to try to get out of a probation violation. Adrian Lucian, he's actually been going to school and trying to better his life, trying to stay off drugs. Hold on one second, everybody. Thank you. Sorry. My daughter was trying to call. We've got plans for Halloween to go hang out with grandbabies to go trick-or-treating tonight. But Adrian Lucian's been trying to get his life together, even because he thinks that nothing's going to happen to him. He thinks that he's going to be able to be over in Pennsylvania, do whatever he wants to do, and not worry about being arrested. He's just going to go on and live his life. No, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for any of these 4 suspects. In my opinion, I believe they will all be charged at one point. Well, Michael wasn't even underneath the barbecuer, so I don't know why they would flip out about the barbecuer. That is an old rumor that was being spread at one point, that their roommate, that the roommate went out to cook for Sarah and Stacey on their anniversary, and it made Sarah mad because he moved the barbecuer, because supposedly Michael was supposed to be underneath that barbecuer. But the fact of the matter is, Stacey, where he said that Michael's body was nowhere near there. He directed them out the back door to the right and around the corner between the shed and the tree that was there. And that barbecuer happened to have been right there on the porch. Yeah, I bet you she did connect to his face. Yeah, the suspects are very violent. I mean, there were even criminal charges for mass quantities of a drug. I'm going to call it math. I'm sure everybody's smart enough to replace the A with E at one point. But like I said, he thinks that he's just going to go live his life and nothing's ever going to happen to him. But he has spoken publicly in comment sections and stuff. Even one during a live on one of Justin's lives, Clutch Them Pearls. It was Justin for All back then, the video that was done. Adrian comes into the comments while Justin has Stacey on during his YouTube shit show, traveling around all of the creators and talking about and lying about all of the stuff and trying to convince us all that he had nothing to do with Michael's abduction. And Adrian pops up into the comment section and said, y'all kidnapped that kid. Matter of fact, I think I even have that. Hold on one second. I have a lot of information in here. Find it in the ton of information that I have. I mean, they've all slipped. They've all contradicted himself. Oh, here's a good one, though. That isn't Adrian, but Brandon even saying he wants to help. Well, Brandon, help.
About me and my freedom anymore. I need to figure out what's going on here and stop the lying and bring the truth to everything that I can and help.
Yeah, stop the lying. Bring everything that you can. Tell the truth. I mean, he even admits that he's lying because he's like, and stop the lying. Yeah, Brandon, it's time to step up. This is one of the interviews on JLR where he's like drinking all the beer in the hot tub, excessive amount of beers, just so nonchalant, talking about a child abduction. It's sickening that the things that these suspects have done. In that news broadcast where they had him sitting there talking about how he wasn't guilty and everything else, to seeing the footage being dropped on YouTube. Let me see. Let me just see where else. Here's where Stacey said that Adrian helped Sarah.
She just flat out said Stacey did it all?
No, she said Stacey murdered him and buried him.
Oh my God, dude. That is the most... Wow, man. That's definitely not what I did.
Like I said, Sarah and Stacey, they're pointing fingers at each other. They are pointing fingers at each other. And it's just not going to stop. It will continue. And when that doesn't work, they're going to start pointing fingers at other people. Even if they have to create a story of something that they saw, like make up a story that Adrian, hurt Michael this way, or that Brandon hurt Michael this way. Whatever they've got to do to get off is what they're going to do.
I didn't do any of that. And you're going to find out as soon as you guys locate him. Like I said, I wanted no part in that. None.
Is the duct tape?
He says, as soon as you guys locate him. He was so confident that they were going to find Michael. And they spent over a week at the Wondра's house looking for him. Like I said, digging 3 to 4 feet down, sifting the dirt to find him. And all they could find was anomalies that proved that dirt had been, dug up, shifted around, and that something was there. And they have evidence that he was in the backyard but later moved. They even have evidence from inside the house. J.D. Huff said there were things of evidentiary value found within the house.
Still going to be over his mouth?
It should be.
Okay.
And he says that so nonchalant. He's talking about a child. We're talking about something over Michael's face. It should be. It's so easy for Stacey Wondra to talk about this with absolutely no emotion because he is a monster.
I didn't watch take him off.
Okay.
So you should have everything intact as it was.
How long, give me an approximate time frame it took her to dig and bury?
I don't know, I'd say probably between a half hour to an hour-ish. I want to say, I mean, I think Adrian was helping her if I'm right about that.
And he's saying he thinks that Adrian helped her. At one point of this footage, I don't really know because I wasn't out there. I don't really know where they put him. I don't really know. But then as the footage go on, more and more details come out. And I think Adrian helped, but I'm not sure about that. Tell me he wasn't watching. How would he have even known if Sarah and Adrian were digging? How would he have even known what color of garbage bag? How would he have known what was on Michael's mouth? How would he have been able to give a location? He's a compulsive liar. Michael Vaughan deserves justice. Justice is coming. We're seeing it happen now. We have to keep sharing Monkey's story. I was going to go over this yesterday, but let's go over it today. I did go over part of it. These are some of Brandon's very strange and unusual comments that he made during the live that I did with him. Anybody talking about kidnapping somebody or anything?
So before Michael Vaughan came up missing, no, I don't think I remember anybody talking about kidnapping or taking someone's kid or doing anything harm, foul play, or nothing like that at all until this July 27th day we speak of in 20.
Until this July 27th day, he hadn't heard of anything. And then he wants to mention harm being done when that wasn't even the question. We're talking about an abduction, and yet he wants to talk about somebody being harmed. It's leakage. It is Brandon leaking information because let's just face it, Brandon wants to think that he's really super smart and intelligent, when in all actuality, he's kind of not.
2021. Now, whether or not some of that stuff did happen or not, I do not know. But as far as I know,
I do not know whether or not some of that stuff had happened or not, whether some of that stuff, meaning whether or not Michael was abducted, I do not know. More leakage.
up until that point, no one has said anything to me like that.
Some people want me to ask you again about your stop on the way out of the neighborhood. You said you guys pulled over to the side of the road.
Right, yeah. The vehicle was stopped in the middle or on the side of the road for a short amount of time, yes.
In the middle or on the side? In the middle or on the side, because he can't make up his mind. Everybody has heard Stacey Wondra. If you're new to the case, maybe you haven't heard Stacey Wondra consistently talk about the fact that they pulled over to the side of the road on the way to go to Kuna. This is after Michael disappeared, before they even called it an abduction. They were going to Kuna to tow back Brandon Shirtleff's car from his mother's house. And on the way out of their neighborhood, stopping at 8th in Arizona. Now, the Vaughan family lives on 9th, right off of Arizona. So this is right next to the Vaughan's house. Michael had wandered out of the house. We know this because he's seen on cameras there in the neighborhood knocking, and other people have came forward and said, yeah, he knocked on my door. One lady specifically talked to Michael because he was out looking for friends to play with. And she said, Michael, go home. And Michael didn't go home. He kept trying to look for friends, and he ends up around this corner of Arizona. These suspects pull over, and it's just so sad to know that Michael had made a decision to wander away, and at the same exact time, there are monsters in this neighborhood making a decision to abduct somebody, a child.
For a brief moment.
On the way to Kuna when you were on your way to your mom's house, correct?
Right, when I was going to get my car before that, I'm pretty sure Stace said, hey, we need to pull over. One of the people in the truck or car said, hey, we need to pull over and check our power steering real quick, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure that was what the issue was.
And who was in the vehicle at that time?
I'm pretty sure it was Stace, Sarah, me,
okay.
And
I think that was it. I think that was it. Wouldn't he know who was all in the car to go? You know, they want to play off like The day that Michael Vaughan was abducted was just an ordinary day. That day was not ordinary. Brandon Shirtliff walked that neighborhood near the splash pad looking to abduct. Stacey Wondra went to the splash pad, said he pulled into the splash pad to reach down and get the chew off the floorboard of the car, seen on CCTV camera. And that's why he was questioned about why he was at that splash pad, looking to abduct. Later on, Stacey Wondra is at a park, kitty corner for Brandy's work, sitting at a skate park for hours, looking for someone to abduct. Sarah, Brandon, Adrian drop off Adrian and Applebee's, but then Brandon and Sarah cruise around the mall near that Applebee's, and they go into the mall and walk around looking to abduct. All day long, they were looking for someone to abduct, a child, a person, who knows. Was it a child? Who knows? But they were looking for someone to abduct. And they're calling this an ordinary day. And then they find out that Michael came up missing. You're gonna remember what you did on a day like that, because that day is not an ordinary day. Just like any of us know exactly where you were when the Twin Towers were taken down by airplanes. You probably know exactly where you were, because that was a day something big happened in your life. And that day, Michael Vaughan was kidnapped, not blocks away from their home. And like Josh from the lab said last night, they were the only ones in the neighborhood not looking for Michael. Instead, they're packing up and getting ready to leave and go to Cuna to tow back Brandon's car.
I think that was it.
Okay.
I'm trying to go over details too, because sometimes we get people's rides, and I'm trying to put a.
He's like, and sometimes we give people rides because they have the taxi service, and maybe they were giving somebody a ride. They're not giving a ride to anybody going to Cuna to go get his vehicle and tow it back.
Name to a face, and go over kind of what I've been through or went along.
Yeah, take your time, no worries. Who was driving the truck on the way to Cuna?
So I'm pretty sure Sarah was at that time.
Okay. Wasn't that such a long S by him? I'm pretty sure Sarah was. Was he gonna say Stacey? Did you see a kid in the neighborhood anywhere when you pulled over to the side of the road?
I did not know, but I think I did remember, because I was the one that was probably going to get the power steering out and open the hood and go check it.
Brandon Shirtliff puts himself outside of the truck. Out of all of the times that we heard Stacey Wondra talk about pulling over to the side of the road on 8th in Arizona, we had never heard anything about anybody else getting out of the truck, but Brandon himself puts himself outside the truck. We know that Sarah and Stacey both are not physically capable, really in reality, to grab a kid and put him in the truck. If that's how it all went down right then. And here's Brandon putting himself outside the truck saying, I'm probably the one who went to the back of the truck to get the power steering fluid.
This and that, and the other people would have been in the truck, so they might have had a lookout and said that they might have seen somebody or this or that.
They might have had a lookout. Why would you be on the side of the road and supposedly just changing power steering fluid and then have a lookout? What are you looking out for? You're changing power steering fluid. You only have a lookout if you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, Brandon. So what was the real reason why you got out of the truck?
So, I mean, I do remember something being said about that, but was it the little kid, the 5-year-old missing boy that was on the thing later that day? No, I did not see him at that time. In fact,
Who got out of the vehicle, if anybody got out of the vehicle, to put in the power steering fluid? Because he had told me that he had gotten out of the vehicle to put in the power steering fluid, I wanted to ask the question in a different way to see if I would get a different answer or a reaction out of Brandon. So I had to ask him again, because as I was asking him these questions, I'm shocked and I'm floored that he even mentioned getting out of the truck, for one. And with Brandon, he was just so sketchy, like a little squirrel, just like so fast, blah, 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 that it was kind of like, oh, wow, if I use this tactic, maybe I'll just overwhelm him with questions, one right after another, barely even letting him think about the last question that he just answered, and bombard him. I could get some leakage. I could get him nervous, and I could hear something else. So I asked him again about the power steering fluid because I want to know if he says anything different.
I'm pretty sure I went out and helped him with it.
Okay. All right. I'm pretty sure I got out and helped him with it. He's so confused and just like, because he himself is now asking himself, we just talked about this. Why is she asking me this again? I wanted to hear him
So I
talk.
don't exactly know who all came out and checked, but there's just a lot of things to go over. But I'm pretty sure.
I don't know who all got out and checked, and he did. He changed his story from I think I did it. I think I went to the back of the truck and got the power steering fluid and helped Stacey do it, to not knowing exactly who got out of the truck. If you are stupid enough to get up on a YouTube live and you're a suspect in a missing child's case, what you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. Law enforcement is going to use these lives, use all of Brandon's lives and Stacey's lives, showing the contradiction, showing the things that they have said.
I helped him pop it off and pour it in there that day.
So
if
you
I
and
remember
Stacey
right.
did the
Yeah.
fluids? Okay. So they did the fluids, and he's the one who helped Stacey top them off.
Yeah.
All right. And you said you made a stop at a gas station out of town, right?
Well, it was still in Fruitland town, so we went over there and put $20 in for gas, or put a couple gallons in. I don't quite remember. I'm going to see if I can go over receipts and look.
He's going to have receipts almost 4 years later for gas. Come on.
Or whatever, or it might have just been cash. I don't know.
Okay.
But I remember we had to stop and get a little bit of fuel before we took off and hit the freeway because, you don't want to be running out of fuel on the freeway.
Right. Did you guys go in the gas station for anything?
If we did, it would have been for just gas, maybe grab a drink or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But other than that, not a long stay, no.
Do you have anything else you want to say before you go?
I wish none of this would have happened. I wish it didn't go down the way it did. And, I'm just appalled, pretty much.
I wish none of this would ever happen. I wish none of this would have gone the way it did. He is almost, pretty much admitting guilt here, in my opinion. Guilty of something having to do with Michael Vaughan. I wish it wouldn't have gone down the way that it did. What? Yeah, right, Halo?
Just, it doesn't make me happy either. And yeah, I will look to seeing you guys on the next new lives. And thanks.
I will look forward to seeing you on the next new live. And right after this, it didn't even take him 2 days to take off from Livingston, Montana, to go to Post Falls, Idaho, have his friend Eric Kisser, his old work buddy, one of the guys that he hung out with shortly after Michael's abduction until late hours of the night, is the person he decides to call to come and get him from Livingston, Montana. And now Brandon, we know, has had lots of court hearings over the last couple months or so in Canyon County. He's trying to do most of them on Zoom meetings. He's had to get a lawyer. These are charges unrelated to Michael, basically an old charge for being pulled over for driving erratic. And then he's just never taken care of it. And because he keeps going to court and not taking care of it, they keep just like putting a warrant for his arrest. Well, he gets pulled over in Canyon County for this warrant just not long ago after he took off from Livingston, Montana. And right then we knew exactly where he was. We actually thought, oh my God, they've got him. They're not going to release him. They're going to charge him with something. And then he was released the next Monday. And we're all sitting here like, what? Are you serious? Nothing happened. And this is all because law enforcement had gone to Livingston, Montana to arrest him and offer him a plea deal and told Brandon, we're coming to get you if you don't let us know within the next 48 hours if you want to take this plea deal or not. But Brandon was gone right after this live, and then law enforcement shows up in Livingston. He's not there. He's done fled to Post Falls with Eric Kisser, working with his buddy. Brandon thinks he can leave town, go places. Nobody's going to know where he's at. So if you see Brandon Shirtliff in Post Falls, Idaho, or anywhere else, take a picture of him. Contact me. Contact law enforcement. Let them know that you've seen him. I mean, I already know that the police have eyes on him. They're wondering if he's going to flee or not. We're all wondering, I should say, that whether or not Brandon's going to flee now that Stacey Wondra has been arrested. But eyes are on Brandon Shirtliff. So if he tries, he's probably just going to get charged. I'm only going to stay a little while longer. Are you guys interested in seeing any more information that I have? Because I know there are a ton of people here that have never seen any of my lives, that haven't seen any of the information that I have on this case. Thank you, Angel Girl. I see you. I really want to see. I have so much, you guys, hundreds and hundreds of videos and pictures and you know, Brandon Shirtliff has even threatened people to hurt them because they share Monkey's case. I can show you guys this. These are RSOs, registered S offenders, that all of these suspects were connected to. Just a little clip. All of them. Some of the suspects moved in with. Some of them, friends that they hung out with, people that they knew, RSOs living right next door to the Wandra's house. This is 16, and let me tell you, there are way more. I'm just not allowed to talk about them all. The people, the company that they keep is so crazy. Just hold on one second. I am just looking here. You know, cadaver dogs hit at the Wandra's house, and they hit at Brandon Shirtliff's mom's house. That is not a coincidence. They were at Brandon's mom's house the night that Michael was abducted. Tina Marie, Brandon Shirtliff's mom, swore that the only thing that the dogs hit on was the scent of poop at her house from her leaking toilet. Mariel told, which is Tina Mariel, Brandon's mom, KTVB via Facebook that her son is not running. We have all been cooperating, but this has outright turned into a total harassment of Brandon and our family to use. It used to be innocent until proven guilty. Now it's guilty without proof. They are even pointing fingers at me and telling me I'm lying. Mariel claims she opened her home up to police when they came knocking. I gave them food and water, prayed with them, and allowed them to run their dogs and people through my house and my yard. They did find my leaky toilet, which I am grateful for, Mariel says. She claims their cadaver dogs smelled the poop outside near her vent and crawl space, which was a leaky toilet, she said. Public Relations Director Mark Sullivan works for the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue Team. He says, he consulted with canine expert on this team who told him that no, cadaver dogs do not alert on human feces. Sullivan said that he's never heard of a canine dog being trained to find feces. Each dog has a very specific reaction that it does when it does it. And that's what it's trained to do. So those dogs did not hit on poop at Tina Mariel's house. Okay, hold on one second. What else do I have here? I just want to thank you guys again for all coming in and, stepping up to the plate. Every time something's going on with Monkey, you guys show up. You guys are always here. We know where Adrian is. I got sent pictures of Adrian coming in for a job interview. All of the information that I ever get is turned over to law enforcement, and I don't share anything that I'm not allowed to share. I always have their permission to share things. This was one of the cars that he showed up in for his job interview. We're always getting information. Many of us are always getting information from the public because they know these 4 suspects are guilty. There are 4 suspects in Michael Vaughan's abduction, and Stacey Wondra has been arrested on 1st-degree murder, 2nd-degree kidnapping, and Sarah Wondra, Adrian Lucian, and Brandon Shirtliff, you're next. You are next. Michael Vaughan was abducted in his neighborhood in Fruitland, Idaho on July 27th of 2021. It's been over 4 years. He was only 5 years old when he was abducted. He just turned 5 years old a month prior. Not only are we all happy to know that Stacey Wondra has been arrested and is going to be charged, but we're also full of sadness knowing the fight that the Vaughns have to make sure that the suspects will be prosecuted for what they have been accused for. Stacey Wondra is a monster. We saw how he treated Brandy Vaughn on the live. It was another unexpected thing. I was doing a live showing and talking about all of the RSOs that were involved in these suspects' lives. And Stacey Wondra showed up in chat and started running his mouth and everything else. And I asked him to come up. And the next thing you know, he said it was okay for Brandy to come up. And the next thing you know, she's able to talk to one of the suspects and her son's abduction and murder. And he was the most horrible person I've ever had to deal with on panel. It was so hard not to just kick him off. If you have any information about any of the 4 suspects in Michael Vaughan's abduction, please call Fruitland Police. The tip line phone number is 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too small. Every tip is important. Let law enforcement decide if your tip is a tip worthy of looking into. Now is the time. Do not wait until days and days before, the suspects are gonna we're going to find out the outcome, whether they're guilty or not guilty. Don't wait till then. Give it up now. Let the prosecutors do their job with your information, with your tip, and put it into the case file. Because it's not easy now that case file has gone before a judge and a warrant's been issued. And more warrants will be issued. So please, call in a tip if you know anything. If you saw their vehicles, if you know anything, if, they were just talking, you heard one of them say something, you don't think that it's quite right. It may not mean anything to you, but it could be the puzzle piece that helps law enforcement and the prosecutor put the puzzle completely together. Not only that, don't live with it. Get it off your shoulders and be Monkey's hero. If you have the opportunity to be Monkey's hero, to be the Vaughn family's hero, do that. Choose that. Don't act like these suspects and be a monster. Because if you have information and you just hold on to it, it's not doing anybody any good. And it makes you a monster for keeping that information from law enforcement. I just want to thank everybody from the very bottom of my heart. If you just showed up at county prosecutor did put something out this morning, and he said, my office is moving forward with charges against the individuals involved in the disappearance and murder of 5-year-old Michael Vaughan, which occurred in the summer of 2021. My office is moving forward with charges against the individuals. Individuals, plural. They're going after multiple people, not just one. We're going to keep an eye on everything. And we're just going to keep showing Monkey's face, sharing his story. And I ask you to do the same. It's so very important to just keep his face out there. That lets the judge, the prosecutor, the city of Fruitland know the world is watching. We are watching, and we want justice for Monkey Vaughan. We are here in More Monkeys Army. We're never, ever going to stop. We support the family in every single way, shape, and form. They've had nothing to do, despite the rumors that you will hear in Michael's case, these parents have had nothing to do with Michael's disappearance. Michael disappeared in his neighborhood, not from his home, not near his home, in their neighborhood. It's very disturbing to know that there are sick individuals that want to point fingers when there's no facts to prove anything, no receipts. And it's very strange and unusual behavior to know that there are creators that want to insert themselves into a child's missing case, an abduction case, talking with suspects, helping them decide what they should do, how they should do it, and trying to convince them that law enforcement is corrupt and something's just not right. Well, the only thing that's not right is the sick individuals that do those things, spread misinformation in a missing child's case. Stacey Wondra has been arrested and will be charged. A warrant was put out for his arrest. The prosecutor is saying that he is moving forward with charges against the individuals in the disappearance and murder of 5-year-old Monkey Vaughan, Michael Vaughan. And those are the facts. Stick to the facts. Don't help anybody spread rumors. It's so very important, especially now. Stacey Wondra was picked up after being released from federal prison in Phoenix, Arizona. Hold on one second. I'm trying to find this on my phone because I can't see this. The custody status date, October 30th, 2025 at 12:09 p.m. in custody, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Location, Maricopa County Sheriff's Office in Phoenix, Arizona. The reporting agency was Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Those are the details. I'm going to come over here to chat, see what you guys are saying. Thank you for throwing up the meal train. Please, if you can, please donate to the Vaughan Family Meal Train. You can also donate to the Cash App or the PayPal for the Vaughan family. Out of anybody that I know, they deserve donations more than anybody. They deserve it. They do need it. I know they need it. After Brandy's liver transplant, I mean, even before then, her husband had to stay home. They've got 3 kids to deal with, and the holidays are coming up. Let's help them have an amazing Thanksgiving now that Brandy has her feeding tube out and can actually eat some food. We'll help you gain weight, girlfriend. Donate to that meal train. They can go get themselves some food and some grub for Thanksgiving. Oh my gosh. I know I'm looking forward to it. Happy Halloween, everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I know I went live a little earlier than I normally do. Well, thank you so much. Born to Survive. Sam, I live 30 minutes away from Fruitland. If I can do anything to help, please let me know. Thank you so much for that. I am a member of the family of a murder victim. I just wanted to thank y'all for standing by and supporting Michael's family and never giving up hope for justice. I'm so sorry to hear that, and thank you so much for coming, sharing that with us. Jana, I really appreciate it. I'm so very sorry that that happened to you and your family. Our hearts and prayers here at Missing PNW go out to you. Nothing is worse than having something like this happen to a family member. It happens suddenly, and that's one of the worst ways to lose somebody. It's very shocking, and it just takes you so long to actually be able to learn how to cope with something like that. Everybody, please be safe. Safe with Halloween with your children. Watch them. You can get some of those glow-in-the-dark little bracelets or little necklaces to add to their Halloween costumes, maybe even some flashlights. If you're out there and you're driving this evening when it gets dark, I know out here in the Pacific Northwest it's going to be rainy. Your windows are going to get foggy. Don't be hauling ass through these neighborhoods where our kids are trick-or-treating and stuff. Take it easy, take it slow, keep an eye out. Let's keep an eye out on all of our babies, and please make sure to look through all of the candy, because there are monsters out there that like to do crazy ass things, and have fun. Most importantly, have fun, stay safe. Make sure if your kids are older and they're going out together that they're all in groups. I love Halloween. It's so kind of spooky, and I love that my grandkids love Halloween, and they're all into wanting to be spooky, and we've already carved pumpkins this week, and we've got pumpkin seeds soaking, and the holidays, no matter the holidays, it's a good time to spend time with your family and your loved ones. And like Brandy Neal says, be kind to one another. And if you can't, be kind to yourself. Stay healthy, eat right, exercise, do everything you need to do to help yourself mentally. I appreciate you all for coming out. I'm going to play a little video of Monkey real quick. As just an out, and thank you guys again. Keep an eye out for any of the lives. Click like if you can, hit the notification bell for more lives, become a member here at Missing PNW, and if you don't want to do that, maybe just sub up a little bit. Help the algorithm get this information out there, and most of all, take a missing child's picture, any child, and share it today. Have a great night. Happy Halloween. Stay safe out there. Thank you, mods, for being here. Love you guys.